How's it going there, guys? James here from Butler Farms on a very hot Saturday afternoon. I know I don't usually look good in videos, but I look really bad today because it has been a hot one outside, but it is full on now with harvest and with preservation. I always tell you that this is going to be a short video and then I end up talking forever and ever. This is going to be a short video because I am under the gun trying to get things put up. I did want to come to you and show you what I do with my purple hull peas. Now, as I've explained to you several times on here, purple hull peas is a southern staple. At least it was in my household growing up. It is in my household now. It is around this area. I'm sure as people get further and further from the land, they get further and further away from purple hull peas too. But in my parents' house, in my house, it's a staple. We have them several times a week, and the only thing that would make purple hull peas any better, after you put a piece of fat back or something in there with them, is my wife's cornbread. And you know, when boss lady makes cornbread, everything's right with the world. Now, this is real quick, just a little tutorial of what I'm doing. Let me turn you around, guys. I apologize for how much we got going on in the kitchen. Please don't look at it and say, man, I need to clean the kitchen. Trust me, I know. It's been an ongoing process. Those of you that preserve your own food know what I'm talking about. So these are the purple hull peas. You can see here, y'all have seen these type of peas before. It is a cow pea or field pea, whatever you want to call it. But it is not a black-eyed pea. I've told you before, I do not like black-eyed peas. They have zero taste. This is not what those are, and it's almost a crime to call them that. So the first thing you got to do is we freeze ours. We don't can them. Again, right at this time of the year, I don't have the time. Maybe one day when I get retired, I'll have the time to can them. Right now, I have to freeze them, and that's a much quicker process, but it doesn't mean that we're not under the gun all the time. So this is my pot that I boiled them in. Now, what we do is we blanch them first, all right? So what that means is that you're going to bring them to a rolling boil. Now, depending on which southern lady that you ask, some will say you have to boil them 2 minutes, some 3 minutes. I go 3 minutes on mine, and I don't start my timer until they come to a rolling boil. So when they come to a rolling boil, I time them for 3 minutes, okay? And then I use a spider. Many of you know what that is and have seen that in kitchens. And I take them from here and drop them immediately into ice water. And that was almost probably 90% ice and about 10% water about 5 minutes ago when I dumped those in. And what that's going to do is that's going to immediately stop the cooking process, okay? Now, the reason that I blanch them is they're going to preserve better. They're going to preserve longer. They will last longer in the freezer, and they're going to keep their color. It's just a step that you have to do with peas and beans and things like that if you're going to freeze them. Now, with my peppers and things like that, I don't, because I'm going to use them in fresh cooking. And so I will take those and I'll either cut them into dices or into strips. These last few bell peppers, I've cut them into strips so we can do stir fry, and all I have to do is reach in there and get them. Peas and beans are different. You got to blanch them, and you got to immediately shut down that cooking process, which is what this is, okay? Then after they cool off, those are good and cold down there all the way to the bottom, and I'll get back to those in just a minute. Now, that's a dog that is doing what dogs do on a very, very hot day. Then I come over here, I've got an old towel laying here on the table, and we keep old towels around here. When they get a little fringed on the end or maybe get a hole in them, we do not throw them away. We have 101 uses for old towels, and this is one of them this time of year. So I'll use the spider again to take them out of the ice water, and I'll put them here, and then I'll lay another towel on top of them and just let them sit there and let them dry and let those towels absorb that, okay? And then I've taken this, obviously, and I've rolled up the sides to put them more toward the middle. Then all you need is something to measure them out. Now, we do them in quart-sized bags. So, as you know, if you think back to elementary math class, there are 4 cups in a quart. And so I will take 4 of those, just scoop them in there with my hand, put them in the bag. I squeeze out all the air, and then I flatten out the piece so that these stack unbelievably well in the freezer like this. I mean, they just lay in there so perfectly. And then I label them. Now, of course, we all know what these are here, but just in case, I always want the date on it, and I just put PH for purple hull. But everybody in this household knows as soon as they see that bag what that is. And it really is that simple. Now, purple hull peas are one of those kind of things where you're going to have some room to grow them. I do know people that grow them in raised beds. You know, they got raised beds that I guess could hold 10, 12, something like that. To be honest with you, you're probably not going to get enough peas off of that. I mean, you'll get enough for fresh eating a couple of times. But as far as being able to put them up and preserve them, because we eat them so much around here, you're going to have some open ground. This is one of those crops that if you really want to, you know, grow a lot of them, you're going to have a lot of space. Unlike, you know, if you were trying to cut out buying all your peppers from the grocery store. Well, you only need probably 4 or 5 pepper plants, and you can do those in pots, you can do those in raised bed, and you will probably be surprised at how many peppers those produce. And once you put them up, you're probably going to put back enough, if you take care of them and put them up like they're supposed to last you throughout the year, and you're done buying those. This is not one of those crops. You're going to have some room to grow these. And you know, I don't fertilize them. I will, as you know, peas are legumes, and they will fix nitrogen into the soil, so that's why they're booming down there right now. After the season, I will mow them down, I will turn them under, and they will just rot in the soil, and that's the fertilizer for the next year. But it's one thing that we have to have around here, high in protein, unbelievably good for you, vitamin and mineral wise. We do put some flavoring with them, but as far as like fattening them up and making them, everybody has this assumption that we dump a stick of butter and half a pound of bacon in every pot of these. We don't here. I know a lot of people that do. I grew up here, but you know, this is not Paula Deen's kitchen, this is my kitchen. So I like to actually taste the peas. I'm a big fan of just being able to taste the food without all the seasoning and all the other stuff. So it's real simple. Don't forget, you're gonna shell them, and of course the shells, as I've shown you in the compost videos, go in my compost, and they make wonderful compost. They break down very quickly. Then you're gonna boil them, okay, as part of the blanching process. I do mine 3 minutes. After 3 minutes, I immediately take them from here. They go in the ice water to cool extremely quickly. Don't play around with that part. Don't put 4 or 5 little cubes of ice in a big bucket of water and then throw them in there. They've got to stop cooking immediately. Like I said, most of the time I am setting the peas directly on top of ice as it melts down, because there's so much ice in there. I want it to be right now, stop. From there, they go over here, and there's that dog again. From there, they go over here to drain, okay? And this is also a place where I can look and pick out some bad ones. I do miss some every once in a while. There's one that probably needs to come out of there that's kind of off color, but I don't really care about that. I mean, if they're really, really bad, I'll pull them out, but most of the time they don't taste any different. And then I measure them out. Remember, 4 cups equals a quart. They go in freezer bags, they're labeled, and now they're ready to go up the hill into the big freezer. And a while ago when I went to get that ice out of the freezer, I brought some down from last year that we will eat, and these will go up there and take their place. Always rotating that food so that you make sure that you get your old stuff out and put your new stuff in. All right, I got to leave it right there. I got to finish these peas. I'm going to let the heat break a little bit before. I don't have to get back in the garden today, but I do have to get on the end of a push mower in a ditch, and I have to get on the end of a weed eater. And I am not looking forward to either one, and I'm not going to do it as long as it's that hot outside. Anyway, guys, I appreciate you. Don't know if you've noticed, we're still growing. I appreciate that too. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up button at the end. It helps. Again, I don't understand it, but it does. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Tell a friend. Until next time, God bless. This is James from Butler Farms, and we'll be seeing you.